All right. So whoever has not received the notes yet, whoever has not downloaded the notes yet, all right. Whoever has not downloaded the notes yet, let me know. All right. I'll take your silence as a yes, and I'll move forward. Cool. Okay, Nilima. So you can refer to the recordings till yesterday. You can reach out to the admin team. The admin team will provide you with the notes. Okay. So the notes, and also, I mean, not the notes. You can ask them the videos. They can provide you the videos. So you can check with them on the videos part, and they'll help you out. Nothing to worry. So just go through the last 4 5 days videos. Right. That's more important. The notes part, I believe you will be able to. I believe the notes part, you will be able to understand the notes because it's pretty much straightforward and self-explanatory. That should not be a problem for you. Ask them the last 1 week videos to be on the safer side. Ask them to add you to the Google Classroom, right? Ramu, Kudra Atla. So ask them the videos. Sharing the notes is not that straightforward. Sharing the notes is not straightforward. Sharing the notes involves a lot of other steps. So you will have to ask them the videos. They'll tell you, they'll share you the videos. Okay. The videos have all the details, how to download and all that stuff, because it's really not possible to repeat the downloading part and the software installation part again. We have completed all of that last week itself. All right. Last Saturday, we have completed the installation part, and yesterday we have completed the downloading part. Okay. Everybody has downloaded the manual testing notes onto their machines. So better those who have not got the notes, those who are new, those who have missed, better if you ask for the videos of the sessions which you have missed. All right. So check the videos because it's a very lengthy process. Although the steps are only 2 or 3 steps, it will take a lot of time for me to explain again in the class. It was just 2 3 steps yesterday, but it has taken an entire session for me to explain all of that. So let's not waste our time. You can check with the admin team. They'll help you with the videos. Let me share my screen. All right. So we have discussed till the maintenance life cycle and also the bug life cycle. We have discussed the software development life cycle, the software test life cycle, the software maintenance life cycle, the bug life cycle also. And we have looked into our SDLC models, some of the SDLC models most commonly widely used. So your waterfall model, your incremental iterative model, your prototype model, V model, agile methodology. We have learned all of these. I have provided a few extra models also for your reference. You can refer to them. Not a problem. These are most commonly used your SDLC models. And we have also covered quite a few functional and non-functional testing types. All right. So we are still left with some notes to complete. But in the meantime, if everyone's ready, we can start with the Jira part for today. We can start Jira today, if that's all right. Or let me explain the class for some time, and we will then jump to Jira. Okay, I'll explain the class. I'll explain the notes for some time, and we can jump to our Jira part later. No, Rashida. So we have completed till our non-functional testing types. We do not learn that. We just learn the concept. That's it. The definition of it. This is not a performance testing course. This is a UI testing course. I was not sure if you have attended the demos or not. I mean, I really don't remember. This is not a performance testing course. Not sure if you have attended the demos. So we have learned our non-functional functional testing types, some of the non-functional functional testing types. So let's start with some more testing types. Next is your recovery testing. Your recovery testing, as you already, I mean, as you already can understand, Rashida, I'm not sure if you have attended the demos. I have never mentioned that. You can check with the admin team if that's confusing for you. I'm not sure about it because I don't remember mentioning anything of that sort. So if you are a little worried, you can drop today's session and you can check with the admin team. Maybe you have joined the wrong batch. I don't remember saying anything of that sort. All of the students present in the class can also confirm the same. I'm not sure who has said that. Maybe you are in the wrong batch. So check with the admin team. I'm not sure about it because that was never promised as part of the course content. That was never promised as part of the course content. So you can please check with the admin team. The admin team will be helping you out on that. All right. So recovery testing, as the very definition itself suggests. So these are all these are all pretty straightforward. Even you can understand them with just by just a glance, by taking a glance at your notes also you can understand. But still, let's just go through your notes also so that you don't miss out on any of the important concepts. So everyone remembers what a Scrum is. What is Scrum? What is Scrum Agile? So again, when I ask you about Scrum, don't say Scrum is Agile or Scrum is a person. I'm not sure who has said Scrum is a person. I don't know who has said Scrum as a person. Okay. Saharish, very good. Yeah, continue. What else? What else can you explain about that? Okay, Anusha. Cool. Very good. Okay. What projects? See, I can see that you are literally copy pasting the notes in the chat box. Some of you are literally copy pasting the notes in the chat box. Don't do that. Don't do that, because if you get used to this in your Java, you will not even find any of the answers for my questions on the internet. Okay. So stop copy pasting from the notes, because if you keep on answering correct answers, I'll keep on asking more questions. And at some point in Java, you'll have to answer all of my questions. So you will not find answers for my questions on the internet also. So relax. So tell me whatever you understood genuinely. Scrum will discuss how to proceed to develop the product step by step. Then what is the difference between your waterfall model and your Scrum? Waterfall model కూడా అదే కదా చేసేది step by step. What is the difference between your agile methodology and the Scrum methodology? ఇప్పుడు Scrum also contains BA. Scrum also contains product manager. Your waterfall also contains all of this. Then what is the difference between your waterfall and your agile methodology or your Scrum methodology? No, development and testing parallelly అవ్వదు. So if this is how you are going to answer the interviewer, 2 weeks, 21 days, 7 days, 41 days, 14 days. I understand that we have shared the notes, the entire notes yesterday itself, but the Scrum and all those details, I believe, have already been shared with you on Google Classroom. Okay. So refer to your notes. Try to give a proper definition. All right. Please make sure you give a proper definition, because I don't think your interviewer will accept most of your answers. Only some of you I have actually tried to answer this correctly. So make sure you prepare. The manual testing looks all easy, good, all sunshine and rainbows. Everything looks cool in your manual testing. Picture light manage cheyachu. Chill mar manage kar lenge manual testing. No, the most easiest concepts are the difficult ones to answer in your interview. So at least for each of these topics, remember at least a one line answer, one line definition whenever possible. All right. Never neglect your manual testing. Manual testing looks easy with all definitions and stuff, but no, trust me, it's not. What is a sprint? What is a sprint? What is a sprint? Sprint is like iteration. All right. Okay. Cool. What do you do in a sprint then? What do you do in a sprint? Dinesh has answered this correctly. Rehma, all right. Shivraj, correct. Lakshmi, Sahu, correct. The rest of you, worst. Worst too. Straightforward. Straightforward feedback from my side. Straightforward feedback from my side. Worst. Worst. కొద్దిగా ఏంది ఇదంతా ఇవా ఆన్సర్లు I have given a very detailed explanation last week and you come up with these answers. Huh? Come on, pay attention everybody in this session. If this is the kind of attention you're going to pay, come on, it's not going to work. What drama is happening here? Giving me all unnecessary, irrelevant answers. You're answering an interviewer or you're answering a friend. What's wrong with you guys? This is how you're going to answer your interviewer? Cut the nonsense. Pay attention in the class. This is not how you're going to answer your interviewer. Trust me, if this is how you're going to answer your interview, relax. Don't even bother to attend the interview. Repeat. Very good. You have the notes. Go through the notes. First, go through the notes. If I ask you too many questions, you come up with repeat. Come on. Come on. How come you're not able to retain? How come you're not able to retain? I've given a very beautiful, very small, very day-to-day relevant example, and you still ask me to repeat. Come on. What were you doing? What were you doing all these days? If you are not understanding it, why did you not flag it then and there? Why do you ask me now if I ask you the question? Come on. Did you remember now? Yes, Sai, భయపెట్టకపోతే ఎట్లా నేర్చుకుంటారు పిల్లలు భయపెట్టాలి ఖచ్చితంగా భయపెడితేనే నేర్చుకుంటారు మాన్యువల్ టెస్టింగ్ జోక్ అయిపోయింది ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి మాన్యువల్ టెస్టింగ్ ఎట్లా ఉంటుంది అంటే మాన్యువల్ టెస్టింగ్ రెండు డెఫినేషన్లు వస్తే జాబ్ వచ్చేస్తుంది అనుకుంటారు వీళ్ళు మాన్యువల్ టెస్టింగ్ అంటే మజాక్ అయిపోయింది అసలు No, this is not the attitude. You guys have to prepare more. You have the notes. Go through the notes. All right. You guys shouldn't wake up now saying that I forgot. Repeat. No, that's not how it works. You guys have to spend at least half an hour every day on your manual testing. Looks simple definitions, but see how you're struggling to answer the definitions. Some of you are literally copy pasting from Google. I can literally flag the names. I can literally mention the names who are actually copy pasting from Google. Just changing the words here and there and copy pasting it. Come on. No. When you answer me something, be truthful for yourself at least. Am I really able to answer this? Did I really understand this? Was I really paying attention in the class? Answer it to yourself. This is an offline class. This is an online class. In the offline class, I literally ask people to come to the board and write the code on the code in front of me in the class. You guys are literally lucky that you are in online session. Ask any student, ask any faculty, ask any admin in Naresh ID. I literally ask students to come to the board and write the code. This is no longer fun. The fun part is over. You guys have to you guys, had you been in the offline batch, you could have written the code on the board in front of me. I would be literally wasting days at a time just to make sure you guys are writing code. All right. The sprint, the time duration that is required to complete a particular task. What are your tasks called as? Okay. What about the rest? Not receiving any answers. इसके लिए भी गूगल सर्च करना पड़ेगा क्या? సాయి ఇది మాన్యువల్ టెస్టింగ్ ఏనా నీ రోల్? మీది మాన్యువల్ టెస్టింగ్ రోల్ ఏనా మీది సాయి? మరి ఇట్లనే ఉంటుందా మాన్యువల్ టెస్టింగ్ లో? మరి ఇంత ఈజీగా ఇంత చిల్లు ఉంటుందా? మరి అట్లా అంటావు భయపెట్టద్దు అని చెప్పి అని భయపెట్టాలి, ఖచ్చితంగా భయపెట్టాలి. లేకపోతే ఎట్లయితే మజాగా అయిపోయింది మొత్తం. అసలు రోజు వస్తాం, టైం వేస్ట్ చేస్తాం, 2 సాఫ్ట్వేర్లు ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసుకుంటాం, పోతాం, అంతే. టైం వేస్ట్ అయిపోయింది, మజాక్ అయిపోయింది మొత్తం అంతా, క్లాస్ అంతా. చలో back to your functional and non-functional testing. Your recovery testing, as the name itself suggests. That's all right. That's all right. So recovery testing, as the name itself suggests, your recovery testing is done to base as a safety mechanism. You deliberately try to crash your application, or in case of a crash or in case of any other failure, whatever may be the failure may be due to whatever reason. The application stops working, the application stops functioning due to any reason. There is any failure in the application, and at that point of time, how do you recover from your failures, your crashes, be it related to data, be it related to any, sometimes your entire application gets hacked, your database, your data gets compromised, whatever may be the scenario. All right, it can be anything. I can tell you literally a number of examples where you have DDoS attacks. You have DDoS attacks on your website, on your application. How will you recover from those particular attacks here? Or let's say your application, you will see temporarily, sometimes you'll see Google is down temporarily, or Google is not, we are not able to open Google, or WhatsApp is not working, WhatsApp servers are not responding. So in that case, how well do you recover from these kind of situations? That is what is done in your recovery testing. You deliberately try to create a scenario so that you can understand how to recover from those scenarios. That is what is your recovery testing is. Next, your parallel testing. Okay, ఏమో సాయి మరి నీదైతే ఎట్లా చిల్లుందో నాకైతే తెలియదు, కానీ నా ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ లో అయితే చిల్ అయితే ఉండదు. సో మరి నీ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ ఏందో నాకు తెలియదు, ఇక నీకే వదిలేస్తాను నేను. అది నీది ఎట్లా చిల్లుందో నాకే తెలియదు ఇక. సో parallel testing. In your parallel testing itself is done to achieve your it's basically a time saving component for you. If you want to save some time, your go-to option is parallel testing. Again, parallel testing is not done in your manual testing. No, parallel testing is literally not possible in your manual testing. Not possible. How many test cases will you even execute parallelly at once? You can't. At a max 1 or 2 test cases you can execute at a time. But using automation, it's possible. In automation, you can run many test cases parallelly at once. Okay, you can execute at least 5 to 10 test cases at once without disturbing your framework, without disturbing anyone. So if I have to give you a very small example here, today morning batch has learned how to do parallel testing using your framework. So in your parallel testing, let's say you have 50 test cases. Believe I have given already this example. So you have 50 test cases. One test case One test case takes, let's say, 5 minutes on an average. Not saying exact 5 minutes. Some might take more than 5 minutes. Some might take less than 5 minutes also. Ballpark figure, average figure, 5 minutes. So for 50 test cases, how much time do you need? To execute 50 test cases, how much time do you need? 5 minutes, huh? One test case also 5 minutes. 50 test case also 5 minutes, huh? I didn't understand the logic here. One test case takes 5 minutes. 50 test cases takes how many minutes? Straightforward question. 5 minutes ఎట్లా వచ్చింది ఆన్సర్ నాకు అర్థం కాలే. 5 minutes ఎట్లా వచ్చింది? ఎట్లా 5 minutes అంటే ఆటోమేషన్ లో కూడా పాసిబుల్ కాదు 5 minutes లో 50 టెస్ట్ కేస్ అంటే. సో you will need 250 minutes or roughly 4 hours 10 minutes. Roughly 4 hours 10 minutes are required to run all of your 50 test cases. Some might take more than 5 minutes, some might take less than 5 minutes also. So roughly you need 4 to 5 hours to complete your 50 test cases. They might pass, they might not pass. It's not mandatory that all your 50 test cases will pass. Some might even fail also. Okay, so whatever it may be, to complete your execution means your program will run. It's not guaranteed that the program will pass. The program may fail also. Execution does not guarantee pass or fail. Execution guarantees that the code is running. Only until the code completes or runs till the end, we will call it as pass. If the code stops in between, then it's a fail. So 250 minutes or roughly 4 to 5 hours is required to complete, to pass, let's say to complete all of your 50 test cases. Complete itself means pass. If your test case is running from one end to one end, if the entire flow is executing, it's considered as pass. So you'll need 4 to 5 hours, but fast forward parallel testing. You can run, what if I say you can run 5 test cases at once? At once, will be running 5 test cases. Even then also you'll need 5 minutes only, right? Previously you had run only one test case at a time. You required 5 minutes for one test case. So now you have run 5 test cases at a time. You have triggered 5 test cases at a time. So even then it is taking 5 minutes only, because each one of them is taking 5 minutes. Each one of these 5 test cases is taking 5 minutes. But overall, all of them have started at the same time. So all of them will finish in 5 minutes only. So if 5 test cases are taking 5 minutes, then 50 test cases, how many minutes? You need 50 minutes. So how much time did we save by running this in parallel? We have saved literally 3.5 hours by doing this in parallel. So parallel testing is nothing but you can run multiple test cases at once. That is possible only in your automation. In your manual, you must be highly talented to execute 5 test cases at a time parallelly without getting disturbed, without getting confused. Because manual testing is done by humans. Humans are prone to making errors. Humans will make mistakes. So that is why if you are highly talented, you can do 5 test cases parallelly at once, no problem, without any scope for error. If you are able to do it manually. But Rashida, no. I'm not sure, Rashida, maybe you are in the wrong batch, Rashida. Maybe you are in the wrong batch. You can just check with the admin team. आप wrong batch, गलत batch में हो शायद आप. Maybe आपने किसी और बैच पे जाने से इस बैच में आ गया. एक बार आप चेक कर लीजिएगा, क्योंकि वो सब कुछ तो इस बैच में मैंने प्रॉमिस किया नहीं, वो सब कुछ इस बैच में बोलेंगे भी नहीं. दिस इज अ यूआई ऑटोमेशन बैच. तो आप क्लास पे ध्यान कम दे रहे हो, कोर्स कंटेंट पे ज्यादा ध्यान दे रहे हो. तो माय सजेशन वुड बी टू एग्जिट एंड प्लीज चेक विद द एडमिन टीम, क्योंकि आप क्लास में बैठ के कुछ कॉन्सेंट्रेट कर नहीं पाओगे. ऐसा क्वेश्चंस पूछ रहे हो तो I'm seriously explaining the concept and you keep on asking me these questions. It looks like you are a little worried. So I understand that's completely natural. So my humble suggestion is you can exit from the session and check with the admin team. Maybe you are in the wrong batch. Okay. जब class में हो, my request, humble request is to concentrate on the class. So your parallel testing is basically done to achieve, or let's say to save your time. Instead of doing this, executing or waiting for 4 hours to complete 50 test cases, you can wait for less than an hour and you can complete all the 50 test cases at once without any scope for error. Whatever code that you have written, it will work absolutely normally fine if you can use parallel testing in your automation. So parallel testing is basically done with the main aim of saving time. The more time you save, the more test cases you can execute. That is the whole concept. All right. So once the build is ready for you, once the build is ready for your testing, you will have very less amount of time to test your build. So it becomes very important for you to give as much as test coverage as possible. Okay. What is test coverage? What is test coverage? Anyone? We already have manual testers in our class. So even those manual testers can also answer. Test engine నేర్చుకుంటావు. You will learn parallel testing in test engine. And to understand test engine, you need to have at least some basic programming knowledge. So for now, I can only tell you theoretically parallel testing like this. But once we get into automation, this is how I can show you parallel testing. This is how I can tell you parallel testing once we get into automation. Okay. But for now, in manual, I can only give you the theory part because you will not even understand any of the code. Your parallel testing will be covered in detail in your automation. This is your automation. You will learn this in automation, parallel testing. So for now, it's only theory for you. Okay, Ashwini, good. Okay. Okay. Cool. So as I've already said, parallel testing is not possible in your manual. Okay. Unless you are a superhuman, who can actually manage multiple test cases at once, it's not possible. What do you think manual testing involves? Manual testing involves taking multiple screenshots at a time. Manual testing is nothing but bunch of screenshots about your test case. What is the proof that you have done your testing? How will you prove that you have tested the functionality? By taking the screenshots. So manual testing involves taking screenshots manually. All right. At least some screenshots are required for you to take are required for you, and you should place them in an Excel file or even in your Jira ticket. So manual testing is nothing but a bunch of test cases, your screenshots, and some thesis, some notes, some explanation about the test case. So nobody has got that much of time to sit idle and take too many screenshots and write too much of notes. If you can simply concentrate on coding, the automation part will take care of all of this stuff. Automation will take care of all of this effortlessly. Automation will take the screenshot. Automation will test your application. Automation will find out your bugs. Automation will also give the output for you, whatever required output is. So that is why manually you cannot do parallel testing. At a max, how many test cases will you execute? I will give you 2 test cases. Will you be able to do both the test cases parallelly, simultaneously, not one after the other, not sequentially? Sequence means one after the other. You complete one test case, only then you move to the next test case. This is what, if you do sequential testing, you need 250 minutes. But if you do parallel testing, you need only 50 minutes. Sequential means one after the other. Only if one is completed, the next one will start execution. Okay, just like how you buy your tickets, movie tickets, or you stand in queue, only the person who is who is in your front, unless his request is processed, you will not be given a chance. You can't even move forward. The same thing happens even in your sequential testing also. But parallel testing is not like that. Parallel testing is not like that. Okay. Parallel testing will execute multiple test cases at a time based on your choice. So this is what is your parallel testing is. Next, compliance testing. Compliance testing. So compliance is nothing but sometimes it's your client requirement only. Compliance roughly loosely translates to your client's requirement only, but not the requirements of the sort we have learned in SDLC. What requirements can you think of at the top of your mind? What requirements can you think of? What requirements can you think of on top of your mind? As part of SDLC, what requirements can you think of? సౌండ్ రావట్లే ఏమైంది? Modifying features enduku? Why do you want to directly modify? Okay, functional, non-functional, fine, very good. Give me one example for functional requirement then. Click. Click is a requirement. Sai, whatever you said is true for manual, not true for automation. I can be extremely skilled and my code will take the same time. You might be beginner in the project, you will still take the same time to execute the code. You may be an experienced employee, 10 years old employee, so you might know the functionality, so you might test it in 1 minute. But automation is not like that. Once you write the code, today also it will take 5 minutes to execute, tomorrow also it will take 5 minutes only to execute. The code does not change like that. Max 1 minute here and there. Ante. The code, just because it has been written by an experienced employee, if the test case is taking half an hour to execute, just because an experienced employee has started writing the code, it will not complete in 5 minutes. No, nothing like that. Your automation does not require any experience. That is the magic there. Manual, the more experienced the person is, the more drama he does. And chala experienced, I am the most experienced person in the team and drama ekku untadu. Manual testers have a lot of what you call that as, this what do you call this feeling that I am the most knowledgeable person. While that is true, he does not realize that his work can be automated with a simple few lines of code. So in automation, that's not the problem. You can be extremely experienced, you can be a very fresher in the project. If you write the code, your code will always take the same amount of time to run. You might be experienced as a manual tester, so you will take, instead of 5 minutes, you might complete it in 1 minute. But imagine doing this on a daily basis or at least twice a day. Imagine doing this twice a day. రోజుకి 2 సార్లు చేయమంట నేను 100 test cases. I will shortlist 100 regression test cases and I will tell you execute these twice a day, once before login or once just after login and once before logout. Execute and chepta. Will you be able to do it? Along with that, manage the existing workload also. Will you be able to do it? Even though you are 10 years experienced in the project, even though you are 10 years experienced in the project, will you be able to do it? So, not possible. So, what is the entire purpose of automation? The entire purpose of automation is to reduce the manual efforts, not to make someone lose their job. So that if you automate something, those trivial tasks need not be looked again and again and again every day. That can be given to the automation server. The server will take care of the particular testing. If there are any errors, if there are any failures, you'll have to look into the failures. Why is this particular test case failing? And you'll have to work on it. But the advantage with your automation is you can run your test cases as many number of times as your wish. Sky is the limit for you. Subah se sham tak, press run. You'll still be able to run all of your test cases. There is no problem. But that's not the case with your manual tester. At some point of time, if you ask your manual tester to test the same functionality twice a day, thrice a day, 4 times a day, 5 times a day, he will be running out of his patience. Because he's also a human. Humans can't do that. Humans can't do repeated tasks. That is why we automate. So that these trivial tasks will be the responsibility of the server, so that the human can think of something new. So the human can develop something new, develop some new test cases, test the same application in a different way. Human has the brain, so he can think of testing this in a different possibility. But automation, you will have to write the code there. Automation will not think of it in this way. All right. So this is the purpose of your parallel testing. So as I've been saying, so functionality or requirements, as some of you have mentioned, yes, user login, that is a functional requirement. Yes, Rajesh, correct. Many of you have given some examples. Cool. Those are your requirements by the client. All right. But sometimes, other than the software requirement, there will be some additional requirements by the client also. Maybe data protection standards. Okay, so imagine you have developed an e-commerce application. Your software company has developed an e-commerce application. The e-commerce application will be storing the details of the users. What details? Their credit card details, their house addresses, okay, their shoe size, okay, their choice of color, their gender. These are all very sensitive data. You might say, why is my gender, why is my shoe size a sensitive data? You never know. You never know how sensitive this data is unless this data is leaked, unless this data is compromised and it falls in the wrong hands. So credit card details are obviously very sensitive. So obviously your client has a set of standards in place. He'll ask you to put in whatever security measures or data integrity measures in place, so that the application meets certain standards. Okay, the client has a certain set of standards other than the requirements that were initially given in the SRS and the BDD document to your BA. Okay, so those standards should be met as part of your compliance testing. Again, do we really have anyone doing compliance testing in our projects? No, we do not have anyone doing. Neither your black box tester, white box or gray box tester will be doing compliance testing. So that is not something under our purview, not under our scope. All right. There will be a separate team who will do all these kinds of compliance related issues. But compliance testing is nothing but there will be certain compliance standards that are mandatory, and which will be requested by the client. It can be related to anything. Maybe related to your data, maybe related to the security of the application. It can be about anything, not the functional requirements. I'm not talking about the functional and non-functional requirements. Okay, that is what is your compliance is. So they will verify if these standards are met or not. Okay, so you will see, if I have to give you a very small example. Okay, you purchase a small cool drink. Let's say you purchase a cool drink from your supermarket. Okay, you purchase Fanta, Mirinda, whatever it is. At the back of your particular, what you call, cool drink, you will see FSSAI approved. Okay, that is some Food Security Authority of India. So they have some standards. Okay, the particular cool drink has to meet some standards. Unless that particular cool drink meets those standards, it's not fit for consumption. So similarly, your client also sets some standards for you in the application. Unless those standards are met, the client is not going to accept the application, your product. So this is what roughly is compliance testing is. Again, will you be testing your application for compliance? No, that is not our problem. That is not our job description. Gokul, maybe something like that. That example will be a lot more complex for most of them in the session. So I will not even give that example. So it's good that you understood what compliance is. All right. Next is your mutation testing. Next is your mutation testing. As part of your mutation testing, imagine you have been testing, you have been given the build, you are testing the application, but you have not found out any bug. Imagine that you have not found out any bug, not a single bug has been found out by you. So you will give a go ahead saying that, okay, testing has been completed, no bugs have been found, no issues found, all good. So either you have tested extremely well or you have not tested anything. Only two chances, only two possibilities. Either you have tested extremely well, the developer has written excellent code that he has not even given room for any error, any bug, or either you have not even tested the application properly. It has bugs, but you are not able to find it out. Only two possibilities. So what will your developer do is, once you say like this, your developer will deliberately make and your developer will deliberately modify the code in the application, and deliberately he will introduce a bug into the application, and then he will ask you to test again. He'll deliberately make a change so that you will get a bug, and he will again ask you to test the application. So in this time, if you get the bug, it means that you have been testing it correctly. If you're able to find out the bug. So if you're able to say that, okay, you have asked me to test it for the second time. So I've tested it. This is the bug. So what will your developer do? He'll simply roll back that issue, roll back that particular bug. So that is what is your mutation testing is. Okay. So your maybe your automation or your manual testing team, whoever it is, the code changes have been done in the application in such a way that your testing process should be able to find that particular bug. Deliberately, they introduce a bug into that. So that is what is your mutation testing is. Okay. So next, your security testing. You all know this better than me. Security testing is nothing but your cyber security, basically. Of course, only definition is not, the small definition is not going to define your entire security testing. Security testing itself is a separate domain altogether. It's a vast ocean that, you have separate degrees, separate courses designed on this. So your security testing is nothing but you test your application to uncover all sorts of security threats. Maybe your credit card details are being hacked without you knowing it. Maybe your database is compromised. Someone is getting access to the database, or maybe someone is able to do some basic tweaks in the code, and they were able to access the user credit card data. It can be anything related to the application which compromises the security of the application. That will be tested in your security testing. Again, there will be separate team who will do the security testing. There will be a very separate team whose job is to do security testing. A manual tester or an automation tester or even a developer, it's not their job description, it's not their job role to do security testing. Okay, you have white hat hackers, you have ethical hackers, you have cyber security experts, all of these people who take care of the application security. Okay, next, your usability testing. Next, your usability testing. Imagine you all know how to use Amazon, you all know how to use Flipkart, you all know how to use Zomato, Swiggy. All of these applications, you're all pretty much aware. At least once in your lifetime, you must have used these applications and placed an order at least. So all of a sudden tomorrow, maybe by God's grace, I will have a startup for myself. Okay, I'll have a startup for myself, which is, which is similar to, which is another e-commerce application, basically, which is another e-commerce company. I have started my own e-commerce company and have released a Android application, iOS application also. So I ask you guys to download the application and start placing orders based on your requirement. So once you download the application, if you are pretty much easily able to place your orders, the user interface, the user experience, okay, UI, UX, if it is all pretty much easily understandable for you, then it's nothing but From the user interface perspective, everything has been tested correctly. Imagine you download the Android application, the iOS application, and you do not understand the user interface at all. These buttons, you don't understand any of those buttons. You don't understand those input fields. Your UI is not visually appealing. Okay. When compared to Zomato, Amazon, Flipkart, Swiggy, my e-commerce application, it's not understandable for you. You're not understanding the user interface. What should I type? What should I click? What should I select? You do not know any of this. So you're struggling to use the application. Then it means that the application is not user friendly. So what I should do is before releasing the application, I should do usability testing so that I can assess how user friendly my application is. If you give my application to even a 60-year-old person, even he should be able to understand how to use the application. He should also be able to place the order. That's how user friendly my application should be. The more yours is an application. It's not a ISRO rocket launching module. It's not a rocket launching module. It's a basic application. Your application should not be that complex. If your application is very complex that no one understands it, and especially an e-commerce application, you will not get any sales. Your application will not be an instant hit. If Amazon UI was so complex, will you see Amazon being will you be able to see so many orders being placed on Amazon? No. So your usability testing simply measures how user friendly your application is. That's the entire purpose of your usability testing. Okay, so that everybody understands what the application is, everybody feels easy to use the application. That is what is your usability testing is. Next is your positive and negative testing. As the name itself suggests, positive and negative. So positive negative testing is nothing but you'll be testing the application. If you give all kinds of, yes, obviously it will be given for review. Obviously it will be given for review. Based on the review, of course, how will the developer know? The client will obviously inform. This is where I want my icons. This is how my icons should look. This is what the color of my icon should be. This is how my input field should look like. This is the color of my application. This is the background how my application should look like. The client will give you all those minute nitty-gritty details also. The developer should not be in a position to assume anything. The most important criteria for you in a software project is never assume. मान के मत चलो कभी भी, पूछ के चलो, कुछ भी मानने का नहीं. You should always ask. When in doubt, always ask. Even in your testing also. When in doubt, always fail the test case. When in doubt, always fail the test case. Never pass the test case. कभी भी test case pass नहीं करने का. If you are confused about your functionality, if you are confused about the test case, never pass it. Pass कर दिया तो खत्म. Pass नहीं करने का. If ever in doubt, always stop or fail the test case. But never assume anything. Assumption will lead to a lot of issues. So never assume anything in your project. Always stop, think, ask, and proceed. If not, fail your test case. That's the better approach. You will be on the safer side every time. So positive and negative testing. Nothing but the same testing only. But what is test data? What is test data? Sample data input for what? For what? Exactly, Monica. Correct. 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 Test data is nothing but the input that you give for your test case. The dummy data that you give to test a functionality. That is your test data. The dummy data, the sample data that you give as input for testing your functionality. That is what is your test data is. So in positive testing, you will choose your test data in such a way that your test case will always pass. So that your expectation and actual output, you are expecting, let's say you are trying to do login. You are trying to do login. So you give correct login credentials, correct username, correct password. Correct username and correct password are your test data. So you give correct data. And if you give correct data for your login, what will happen? You'll be able to log in. So your expectation is to log in. Actually, also you are able to log in. So your actual and expected are working fine. Your expectation is to log in. If you give correct username and correct password, your expectation is that I should be able to log in. You actually are also able to log in. Then your expectation and your actual output, both of them are same. So in this case, that is called as your positive testing. But in your negative testing, you give all kinds of wrong data, irrelevant data. Let's say correct username but incorrect password, incorrect username but correct password, or incorrect password, incorrect username. Something like that. So that your test case always fails. Your test case always fails. So how is it possible? By giving wrong credentials. So positive testing is nothing but you will test your application by providing valid set of data. Negative testing is nothing but you test your application by providing invalid set of data. That is what is the difference between your positive and negative testing. All right. Anyone still who has not received the notes after attending yesterday's session? After attending the yesterday's session, is there anyone who has still not received the notes? Those who are absent, relax. Simply refer to the videos. Those who were present yesterday and did not get the notes, please let me know. Anyone? Ravi, I already told you that you were already there yesterday. So I have asked you, I don't remember what your problem is. What issue did you get yesterday? Didn't get the access to GitHub. So I believe I have asked you to provide the GitHub username. So GitHub username, Anusha has already shown it to you yesterday. GitHub username, how to find out the GitHub username. To find out the GitHub username and tell me the username detail, username on GitHub, so that I can add you. What is backend? Backend is nothing but your database. Simply remember that backend is nothing but database. What is backend in terms of server? Database. Database only. Server also, some people call server also as backend only. Server side programming is also called as backend programming. Notes రాలేదా తల్లి చందన నీకు నిన్న నోట్స్ రాలేదా? నోట్స్ వచ్చిందా నిన్న రాలేదా? మనకి ఎందుకు తల్లి? కమాండ్స్ నేను ఇవ్వాల్సినప్పుడు ఇస్తా, కంగారు ఏం లేదు. కమాండ్స్ ఇప్పుడు నేర్చుకున్నానంటే మే కహా హూ మే కౌన్ హూ అంటారు. సో వద్దు ఇప్పుడు అయ్యి కమాండ్స్ నేర్చుకున్నానంటే డన్ అయిపోయింది. ఇంకా ఈ రోజుకి మీది మీ ఓపిక కథం. మీరు క్లాస్ నేను కూడా వినలేదు ఇంకా ఇవాళ. Commands, if you want to learn the commands, you must have at least some basic level of expertise or basic level of programming and basic understanding of GitHub and Git. You don't have that idea at the moment because you did not even start using GitHub. You have just started using GitHub. So there is one person who has not accepted the invitation. I'm not sure who that person is. Again, unless you accept the invitation, you will not be able to access the nodes. Okay, so So I have given access to 65 members. So if anyone has not received the access, if anyone who is still not able to access this repo, let me know. The repo is deliberately made private so that you will at least open your GitHub. At every step, you will see me doing all these kinds of things, because the important part is to make sure you guys are opening your laptops, you guys are opening your GitHub, you guys are opening IntelliJ. You will find these kinds of small hurdles from my side. I've deliberately put all of these like this. This is private because I want you guys to open GitHub. This is private because I want you guys to know where your username is. This is private because I want you guys to go to open your Google Classroom and update the file in Google Classroom. All right. So everything has a purpose. Everything has a meaning. I have deliberately done this for your practice only. All right. So if anybody has not yet received the invitation, you can check first and foremost thing. Check if you have updated your username in Excel. If you have updated your username in Excel and you still didn't receive the invite, please check if I have given any comment beside your name. Some people, their usernames were incorrect, so I was not able to find their usernames. For some people, I was getting too many search results. So please check whatever comment I have given in the Excel file and then accordingly get back to me. All right. So I believe everyone has got access to the notes. Everyone has access to the repo, and everyone has the notes with you in your machine. So I believe you have opened the notes at least once. Those who have received the notes, you must have at least opened the notes. Okay. Your manual testing folder will contain only one file at the moment. So that one file you should be able to see, open, and you should start reading the notes. All right. Every day we'll be asking you some or the other concept. All right. So anything else, guys? Anything else? If I run for query and find any bug, then can I be able to fix it after completing the course, or I'll inform developer and I'll fix it? भाई टेस्टर का काम है बग ढूंढना, बग फिक्स करना तुम्हारा काम नहीं है. It is not your job description. It is not your role to fix the bug. Your job is to find out the bug. That's it. अगर बग फिक्सिंग में तुम ही करोगे तो डेवलपर की क्या जरूरत है, टेस्टर की क्या जरूरत है? Right? So tester will only test it and he will inform that I have raised a bug. That's it. Your developer will have to look into it. तो अगर आप बग भी आप ही रेज करोगे, फिक्स भी आप ही करोगे, then you are an SGET, white box tester. Okay. Your compliance and mutation. Compliance is meeting the standards that the client has set apart from the functional requirements, functional and non-functional requirements. Apart from your functional and non-functional requirements, the client might be setting some standards for the application so that your application is accepted. Okay, those standards can be about anything. Those can be about your data. Those standards can be about your security. It can be about anything. So unless your application meets those standards, you will not be proceeding with the release of the application. That is what is your compliance and compliance testing is. Compliance itself means that adhering or following some set of standards. Compliance testing itself means, are you actually following those rules, or are you actually implementing those standards in your application or not? All right. If you open Paytm, it says all data is encrypted, or even in your WhatsApp, it says all the data is end-to-end encrypted. So this is a standard that WhatsApp is following. So your client might also ask for something like that as a requirement and as a standard in the application. So they will be verifying if these compliance issues, these compliance standards are actually met in the application or not. Again, compliance testing is not something that is done by the manual testing team also, not even it is not done by automation team for sure. For sure, the automation team will not do it. Even by the manual testing team, they will not be doing the compliance testing. Mutation testing again is nothing but deliberately making changes in the code so that it throws a bug. Deliberately changing the code to throw a bug so that it can be tested and fixed. That is what is your mutation testing is. Guys, I want you guys to open the notes and study hard. All right. See, I don't know who has told you. I mean, everybody in the market feels that testing is a very easy concept, easy subject. You are up for a surprise, my friends. You're up for a surprise. Don't ever listen to those people who say that testing is very easy. अगर टेस्टिंग इजी होता तो कोर्स की जरूरत नहीं होता. ठीक है? So testing is not easy. Those who say that testing is easy, trust me, they have never done any piece of testing in their life. All right. Those who say testing is easy, they have not done enough testing in their life. Okay. Don't listen to them. Even though they are already working, even though they have previously worked, don't listen to them. Testing is not easy. Maybe their project is easy, not testing is easy. Their project might be a very easy project. All right. Their project might be an easy project. Their application might be a very straightforward, easy application. That is why they are feeling testing is very easy. But testing in general is a little bit difficult only. It's not on the easier side. Manual testing especially, it's not difficult, but you can manage manual testing, but you'll have to understand each and every functionality in the application. You should be like a literal encyclopedia when it comes to the functionality of the application. If I ask you, what does your WhatsApp do? Will you be able to explain me thoroughly or not, each and every button? Similarly, even about the application that you are going to test, even for that application also, you should be able to give me all the functionalities, explain all the functionalities thoroughly if you are a manual tester. For a manual tester, functionality is more important. You should understand about the functionality of the application thoroughly. Unless you understand that, you will not be able to do your testing in manual. In your automation, not needed, because your manual tester will explain the functionality. That is his responsibility to explain the functionality. He will explain the functionality. He will tell you what he does manually. Then you will have to automate his task. That's how automation works. All right. So never be in a misconception that testing is very easy. No. If you want a very decent salary, if you want to land in a product-based company, trust me, manual testing, that's when you will understand that manual testing is not child's play. All right. So testing contains more theory or less code. Both of them are same, no? More theory or less code. Both of them are same. More theory or more code बोले तो अगर manual में जाओगे, if you want to go to manual testing, then you'll have more theoretical part and most importantly the functional part. You should understand the functionality of the application. See, you may be good at using WhatsApp, you may be good at using Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and all that stuff. But what is the guarantee that you are going to use a similar kind of application even in your project also? No, right? So for a manual tester, the most important thing is understanding the functionality. That is more important. At the moment, I'm not interested in learning the functionality. I'm only interested in writing the code because writing more code gives me more money. More money is what I'm interested in. I don't want to learn the functionality. I just want to learn what my test case is and automate it. I will learn the functionality at the appropriate time. But at the moment, I want to write more code. I want to earn more money. So automation is where you can get a lot of money. All right, manual, relax. I would not even suggest you to go to a manual testing role. Light, waste. Time waste, efforts waste if you go to manual testing. Straightforward. Don't go for manual testing. Always try for automation role only. All right. So if you have anything, let me know. Let me know. We can take your queries or else we can close it for today. Come on, guys. If you have any queries, let me know. And when I explained you the course content, that's the exact course content that you will need to get at least a 7-figure salary, not monthly. Monthly 7-figure salary, very difficult. 7-figure ante more than 10 lakhs. More than 10 lakhs, 7-figure salary ante. So if you want to get a 7-figure salary for an year, more than 10 or 10 plus LPA basically, you need to learn all of the concepts I teach in this course. You will need that. You will need that in your career. You will have to learn all of these course contents to at least get a decent paying job. For freshers, I might not guarantee if you get 7-digit or 8-digit or 6-digit, whatever it may be. Depends on your kismat. Anusha, okay, Amma. So Chandana is saying her company has openings for 4+ years. If anyone interested in Bangalore location, you can let her know. You can forward her the resumes. Chandana, if you can let me know the company details and the profile in Slack group. I have another batch in the evening and in the morning. I can forward these details to those batches also. If you can put these details in the Slack group, I can forward those details. You will get the referral money. Someone will get a job. You will be helping someone else's life. So make sure you share these details in the Slack group. Slack group, either in QA training channel or in what you call general channel. Both the channels, share those details. I will also take those details and share it with the other batches. You will get the referral money. Parallel testing. Parallel testing is done with a view to save time. You want to save time. Imagine you go to a movie, you go to a movie theater, you go to a multiplex, IMAX, you go to IMAX. There is only one counter for the entire IMAX theater. IMAX has some 10 screens. Let's imagine IMAX has 10 screens. For all the 10 screens, there is only one ticket counter. For all the 10 screens, you have only one ticket counter. So, first day, first show, many people are standing in line. Literally kilometers of line. Because there is only one counter which is issuing tickets. But what if you have 10 screens? You have 5 ticket counters. So considerably the rest will be a little less. You'll not be seeing people standing in line for kilometers at all. So why do we have to do this? So that your capacity will increase. Your ticket issuing capacity, if you increase the ticket issuing capacity, you can issue tickets to more people. If more people are issued with tickets, you will not be seeing so much of rush near your theater. You will not see hundreds and hundreds of people standing in line for kilometers. All these issues will not happen. So similarly, even in your testing also, you have 100 test cases to run. If you are running one test case at a time, how many minutes will you require? You will require many hours to complete these 5 test cases. 100 test cases. But instead of running one test case at a time, if you can start 5 test cases at once, if you can start 5 test cases at once, then you will be executing 5 test cases, and ultimately you will be taking less time than running them in sequential model. So instead of running them in sequence, you can run them in parallel so that you can save some time. You'll be testing the same 100 only. You'll not be testing more than 100. You'll be testing the same 100 test cases. But what happens is this time, instead of testing one test case, You'll be testing five test cases at a time. So that more test cases, you can test more test cases in less amount of time. That is what the entire purpose is. Any other queries? Any other queries? Work from home available? I'm not sure. Maybe she can tell you. I'm not sure work from home is available or not. So, yeah. All right. If you do not have any queries, we can close it here for today. We can close it here for today. దుర్గా తల్లి నువ్వు అందరిని అడగాలి ఇప్పుడు నా ఒక్కడిని అడిగినావు నువ్వు యూ హ్యావ్ సెంట్ మీ ఓన్లీ ద మెసేజ్ యూ షుడ్ సెండ్ ఇట్ టు ఎవ్రీవన్ సో అందుకే డిస్కస్ దిస్ ఇన్ ది స్లాక్ గ్రూప్ యూ హ్యావ్ entire Slack group to discuss about this. Discuss in Slack, no problem. That is why I've given you that platform. That is why I've asked you for that asked you to join that platform. So Zoom session will be only for 1.5 hours. Slack 24 hours you can message in Slack. 24 hours you can message in Slack. Whenever she looks at your message, she will respond. No problem. So message in Slack group, she will respond at the appropriate time. Slack is similar to your Android, your WhatsApp only. Right? Let's meet again tomorrow at the same time. Neelima. So hold on.